So it happens in good families, and I just wanted to share with you just a couple minutes because I really want to hear the rest of what people have to say. But I felt like I wanted to send you away a little bit equipped with some of the information of how sexual abuse can begin to be perpetrated within your families. Because we have a bit of a notion that it's probably going to be a stranger. Our kid's going to be snatched at the playground. You know, so somebody's going to rush in and take it out, or they're going to go to the bathroom. And all these things can happen. All those scenarios can happen, but for some reason, the most common scenario is that it's somebody you know and you trust. Oh my goodness, it's disgusting, but it's true. So there is a really brilliant book, which The Wounded Heart by Dan Allender, Hope for Adult Victims of Childhood Sexual Abuse. And if this is at all part of your story, I recommend highly reading this book. I worked through it for about a year when I first started my journey of healing. And it provides a lot of help and insight. And one of the things that I like about it, I made you a few copies for people who want to take it home here, is he has described the 4 typical stages of childhood sexual abuse. And people can either knowingly or unknowingly put their sights on a young person, and they can methodically and consistently, even over years, groom that child to be their next victim. The first stage is to gain that child's trust and to draw them into secrecy. Let's go get an ice cream. You don't have to tell your mommy. Oh, I like this special treatment. This is so sweet. But don't tell. Okay. So that's the first stage. The second stage is that normal physical contact is established. So there's just some touching and rubbing and snuggling and nothing really inappropriate, but you just get used to breaking down that physical barrier with that person. The third stage is that inappropriate physical contact is established. Sometimes these stages can move very fast, sometimes they can move very slowly. It can even happen within a few hours, or it can happen within a few years. It's just, there are so many different stories and different ways that it can happen. And then the fourth stage is full-scale sexual abuse. I don't share this information to scare anyone. I just want you to be aware. Because we need to be looking for these kinds of things, having Holy Spirit inspire us, not to be paranoid, not to think that everybody who's nice to our child wants to abuse them, but just let Holy Spirit tell you. We had a really fun, lovely guy. We're all into airplanes at our house. He's a pilot. So we invite him over to dinner, friends of friends, and we spent several occasions with him. And I noticed that he really focused a lot of his praise and attention on one of my children. I thought, that's strange, and the other children weren't getting much airtime with him. And I thought, that's strange. And I didn't really think much of it. And then over the course of a few months of engagement, I thought, oh my word, what is he doing? It was like Holy Spirit just pulled back the blinders and said, you need to be aware of this, sweetheart. So I talked to my husband about it, and I actually shared those 4 stages of sexual abuse with my boys. And I said, guys, this is how it can happen. And they were pretty bug-eyed about it, but they received the information well, and I felt like it equipped them. I shared it in an age-appropriate way for them just to be aware that that's how it can happen and that's how it can feel. So I wish my parents had been on the alert. I wish they had known. But very much like what Jenny said, I don't share that story in any way to come from this sad place, but God has built a rock under my feet. I am determined to get the word out and to save as many children as I can from having this be their story. No matter where I go on this earth, even there, God's hand will guide me. His right hand will hold me fast. Psalm 139. Is Corey here with her guitar?
Can I ask a question?
She was in the hallway.
Yes.
Is there an age that it becomes like they're out of the danger zone?
That's a good question. You will sense with your children that they will become a little more robust in their ability to say no. I think especially if they understand how it could happen, and then they can start to read the signs. Their own relationship with the Holy Spirit can trigger them and say, this doesn't feel good. But you know what's kind of funny? I guess with certain people with certain kind of wounds, even older people can get sucked in. I've heard a story of a woman in her 30s, you know, just people who aren't good at saying no, and they're kind of gullible. So it's really important for us to take before the Lord, to open up those dark, wounded places where that kind of thing attaches at any age. So I don't recall Allender giving an age out of the danger zone, but it would be worth researching that.